trying to find the way to walk. Lord, I humble myself before thee. I don't want to be lost. I've been taught to search the scriptures and read the word of truth. Like you said, just like you promised, I'll be just like you. How can you hear to believe? Take the time out just to read. You will find that you've been wrong. Jesus is coming.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of The Bible Speaks, where our interpretation is expressly prohibited. This is the third part of the leadership series called Marriage Counseling Part 2. So I had to break this up into two parts just to give everybody a full version of this lesson. So the first lesson was man of the house. The second lesson was marriage counseling, and then the second lesson was virtuous woman, and his third lesson was marriage counseling, but I had to do part 1 and part 2. So welcome to part 2 and come along with me. This is a how-to lesson. It's essentially a case study using a model couple and discussing family situations, teamwork, finances, and just showing you how things can be done or should be done. But we're going to start this lesson where we started the other marriage counseling lesson, right at Ephesians 5. So come with me and let's start at Ephesians 5. We're going to start at verse 1. When you get Ephesians 5, Brother Vernon, go ahead and read.
Be ye therefore followers of God as dear children, and walk in love, as Christ also hath loved us.
That's right.
And hath given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling savor.
Go ahead.
But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you, as becometh saints.
Now remember, this lesson is for servants of God. So it's talking about don't let all this stuff be named among you as becoming saints. But he said, be ye followers of God as dear children, right? And walk in love as Christ also hath loved us. But he said right after that, but fornication and all uncleanness and covetousness, let it not be named among you as becoming saints. So as I dealt with in marriage counseling part 1, we realized that stuff is, if you're going to be a servant of God, you have to put that stuff away and out of your life. Okay? So let's skip down to verse 5. Go ahead.
For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, who is an idolater, hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God.
So if you're not deciding to do it as the servants of God do it, like getting married and doing it before God and man, you know you don't want to fall in this other category, because at that point it says they don't have any inheritance as becoming saints, right? As in the kingdom of Christ and of God, right? Go ahead.
Let no man deceive you with vain words. For because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
So don't let anyone deceive you with any vain words telling you, hey, you can't do it like this, or we can go have multiple wives, or we can go and just do what we want to do and not get married. Not if you're going to become saints. You can do that in the world. You can do whatever you want in the world. But if you're talking about becoming saints, we need to do it accordingly, right? So let's skip down to verse 10. Go ahead.
Proving what is acceptable unto the Lord.
Because that's exactly what we're supposed to be about doing, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. Go to 15. Go ahead.
See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise.
So to do this is to be wise, right? The other way is to be a fool. And we're going to deal with that in this lesson when we look at these two sons. One is foolish, one is wise. So keep going.
Redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
Because these days are evil. At this time right now, if you're not paying attention to these things that this Bible is telling you, these days are evil, and it'll get you wrapped up if you're trying to be a servant of God. All right? Keep going.
Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is.
Skip down to 21. Go ahead.
Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God.
So submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God, like we covered in the lesson last week, you have to submit yourself under the powers, under this government, right? So when you submit yourself under this government says, hey, if you're going to call yourself married, you need to have it on paper, and you could claim your wife on taxes when he said about paying tribute. So if you're submitting yourselves one to another, you're doing it in the fear of God, because God is the one that sets up governments and throw them down, right? So let's keep on going. Go ahead.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord.
To your own husbands. And I'm sorry for doing this every scripture, but we got to be tedious today and make these points. To your own husband. You submit yourself to him. We covered that last week. Go ahead. And we're going to show you how today, though. Go ahead.
For the husband is the head of the wife,
Uh-huh.
even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
So in everything. So Paul is setting it up, and he's setting it up like as according to the way God has set it up. And he said, therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. As I said last week, the church cannot tell Christ what to do, so therefore the wives don't up and just tell the husband, you do this, but you have the power to consult with your husband. That's what you're supposed to do. We covered that in Virtuous Woman. Go ahead. What's the next
25.
scripture?
Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
So just as a man of the house, husbands, you love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Be willing to give everything for your wife and to protect your wife and family. And we're going to see how that's done. So this is just an overview of all the previous lessons to get into this how-to lesson. Go ahead.
Down to 28.
28, go ahead.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies.
Uh-huh.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
Uh-huh.
For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bone.
And that's how we have to treat our wife and family. We have not yet hated ourselves. So if you don't hate yourself, how are you going to hate your wife? If you don't hit yourself, how are you going to hit your wife? So even as he said, for we are members of his body, Christ won't hurt his own body. So just as Christ will not hurt his own body, you can't hurt your wife and your family. That's what it takes to be the man of the house. Go ahead.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh.
Go ahead.
This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church.
So he said this is a great mystery. He said, so the same way Christ is doing, you have to do it as one unit in a family. Just as we are a body of Christ, and each body has its different members and going out and doing its own thing. That's what his family structure has to work. So he was speaking about Christ and the church, but he's going to let you know something right here. Go ahead and read.
Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife, even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband.
Now you see that? So let everyone in particular love his wife as his own self. This is how the teamwork works, because you came in together. When you go back to the other lessons, you'll see you came together. So this is how it works. So he says, so love his wife. And the wife, the way it works is the wife reverence her husband. That means, hey, she have that kindness, and you have due benevolence to one another. So you reverence your husband, and husband, you make sure that you love your wife and protect her. So let's get on down and start this case study. Let's go to Genesis 25. Because this concept can be abstract. How am I supposed to love it as myself and do it as my own body and all this stuff? You probably have a few little bits and pieces, but it could be a little abstract. So the Lord always puts a model here. So we're going to look at a model couple and look at this case study, and we're going to weave in and out of here to kind of see how this thing goes. So let's get going. Let's start at Genesis 25. Genesis 25, and we're going to start at verse 20. Go ahead.
And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
Now check this out. So Isaac, this thing with the teamwork, Isaac and Rebekah, when the Lord, because you got to remember, the Lord is dictating this whole thing to Moses, right? So the Lord paid attention to all the little things they did. So he gave you a couple that he looked at as a model couple. Wasn't no outside this and that. He didn't have any extra wives. It was just them two. Right? She was good to him and he was good to her. So how you know that, Antoine? Because it said Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife. So that way, they were on one accord. His wife was concerned about something. He took the matter and took it to the Lord for her. That's how you do it. That's how the teamwork works, right? Go ahead.
And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
So now this time she's noticing something's going on in her womb. She know, hey, my husband entreated, and he came back and right after he entreated the Lord, I conceived. And now she's wondering, if I'm supposed to conceive, it seems like something's going on here. So the Lord gave her an answer, right? She asked the Lord a question. He gave her an answer, and she took that answer to mind, because that's what you're supposed to do. When you guys are entreating and talk to the Lord about the same thing, that's how the teamwork works. Go ahead.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Okay, so when they first got together, Isaac was only 40. They was together 20 years before they had children, right? So now he was 60. But when they had these two boys, remember the Lord said, the elder shall serve the younger. Rebekah paid attention to that. And what happened here was we found out that Esau was the oldest and Jacob was the youngest, right? Okay, go ahead.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
Okay, so now the boys grew. So now they probably in teen years or 20s or something like that, right? So they're a little older. So Isaac is also a little older than Rebekah as well. So now the family is starting to go together. Now, Jacob became a man of the field, and Esau became a hunter, right? Okay, keep going.
28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob.
So here's a little situation in the family. Isaac loved Esau, Rebekah loved Jacob. We know that kind of stuff happens in a family, right? But so this is going on in their household. But remember, the Lord told Rebekah something. Go ahead. Where are we?
That was the end of
let's go. Let's skip down to Proverbs 3 real quick, and we're gonna come back to this story. Let's go to Proverbs 3. See, because you notice how everything they did. You notice that when she wasn't pregnant, was 20 years ago. She didn't have a child. Did they go and say, "Ooh, go have a child of my handmaid"? She didn't do none of that. They waited on the Lord. Let's see what that got them. Let's go to Proverbs 3. Proverbs 3 and verse 1. Proverbs 3 and 1. Go ahead.
My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart.
Now, you see that? So first thing you tell them, Proverbs 3, hey, don't forget my son, forget not my law, right? And length of days, long life, and peace shall it bring you, right? So when you keep the Lord's commandments, it's bringing peace to that whole household, right? These are some how-tos. So you notice they just waited and entreated the Lord and you see they have some a good family structure going on. Keep going.
So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man.
In the sight of what?
God and man.
God and man. Remember that from the last lesson, that's the thing, that you want to have favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. So you can't do something in front of man and then doing something else in front of God. It don't work like that. Go ahead.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Go ahead.
Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil.
And you look and you see that's exactly what they did. When they wanted those babies, they just trusted in the Lord with all their heart, and they didn't go to their own understanding. You notice what happened with their father and mother. They kind of went to their own understanding. Hey, well, the Lord said we're going to have kids with Sarah and Abraham, or you can have a kid with my handmaid, and it caused all this trouble. But Isaac didn't do that. This was a model couple here. They just said, hey, we're going to wait on the Lord. We don't care if it takes 20 years, right? And that's what they did. Go ahead.
It shall be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine.
So let's see if the Lord honored exactly that, because we noticed that that's what they did. They went and trusted in the Lord with this thing, with everything that they wanted to do, and let's see if the Lord honors his part of the bargain. But first, let's stop at Philippians, right, and show you about how they did everything. Philippians 2. This is a how-to lesson for couples, how to do it once you get married. Whatever you're doing before that, I don't know. But once you get married, this is how you do it, right? Philippians 2, and we're going to go to verse 1. Go ahead.
If there be therefore any consolation in Christ, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, If any bowels and mercies, fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind.
You see that? That's exactly what they was on. She couldn't entreat the Lord about the problem. They didn't go do nothing on their own. She entreated the Lord about the problem. He entreated the Lord about the issue, right? They was on one accord and one mind. That's how you do it as a family. Pay attention. Like I say, this is a case study. We're going to keep in and out they whole marriage throughout this whole lesson. Go ahead.
Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves.
You see that? Because he entreated the Lord for her. He wasn't worried about his own self. This is what she wants. Let me go to the Lord about it. So that's what you can do as a husband. You got a wife that wants something, you trying to get it for her, and if it's a good thing, you can go to the Lord about it and ask, hey, as a family, my wife really wants this. And that's what they did. They was on one accord and one mind. It wasn't like she praying for one thing and he praying for another. No, it's togetherness because they came in this thing together. Go ahead.
Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others.
So we just covered that, didn't we? Don't look for your own things. You're looking for the things of others. This is how you do it as a family. Go to the Lord together as a family. Or if you entreat the Lord, sometimes don't always entreat for yourself. Entreat for your family. Entreat for your wife. Let's get back to today's situation. Let's go to Genesis 25, and let's see if the Lord honored, like he said he would do in Proverbs, if you lean not on your own understanding, he was going to make it health for you and give you all and take care of you, right? Let's go on back to Genesis 25. Genesis 25 and 30. 25 and 30. Right? Go ahead.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
So at this time, the reason I'm reading this, because I want this story to kind of to build on itself and just bring some color around it. At this time, Isaac and Rebekah still a young family as far as with their children and everything, and you have Esau and Jacob, and you're going to see, you got one wise son and one foolish son. Right? So we're going to cover that too. So as they're building their family and as things are going on, you're seeing things happen in their family. You got a wise son, you got a foolish son. So now this foolish son decide his birthright ain't worth nothing right now, right? Because he's not looking at the future of the whole thing. He's just looking at, hey, we just doing all right. This is regular. You can have this thing, right? Think about that. This is going to come right back up at the end. So keep going. Keep 34. Going, Brother Vernon. Go ahead.
Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
You see that? He despised his birthright from there, right? So we're gonna talk about this a little bit. Let's look at what the Bible says about this. Like I said, you had a wise son and a foolish son, right? Just like when we did the man of the house, you had a person that represented the man of the house. You had a purpose that represented someone that you should not follow. You had the virtuous woman, you had the bond woman, you had the free woman. In this case, you're going to have these two children. And this happens inside of families, right? All right, let's go to Proverbs 15 and 5. Proverbs 15 and 5. 15 and 5. And we're going to put this whole story together. Remember, right now, we're just looking at this case study. We're just looking at their lives, and we're going to start putting this thing together. 15 and 5. Go ahead.
A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. Skip down.
Skip down. So that's, he said, a fool despises his father's instructions, right? And we're going to see this. This is just a forerunner of what's happening. Notice how Esau just despised his birthright, right? That was going to be given. He understood what it was. That was going to be given to him by his father, but he just despised. He looked at it like it was nothing. He sold it for something to eat, right? So he said a fool, like I said, this is a foolish son, despised his father's instructions, right? Let's skip on down to 16. Go.
Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith.
Go ahead, verse 18. Go ahead.
A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife.
Now, so what happened is, so he said, Better is a little with fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. And you're going to notice this foolish son, all he cares about is the treasure. All he cares about is the money. We're going to go back to Genesis 26, and all this foolish son cares about is the money. We're going to see that because right now you kind of see that they just got regular things going on. But this is going to change. Now, just follow me in this story, Genesis 26 and 1. Go ahead.
You want to finish 50?
No. Go ahead. We're going to come back. 26 and 1. Go ahead.
And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father.
Now check that out. See, this is the part that we kind of miss. Now, at this time, the Lord just, remember I read to you and said, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, and the Lord would bless you and everything. Now the Lord just came to Isaac and told him, hey, I'm going to give you this land that I promised your Abraham, your father, and I'm going to bless you there, right, and to all your seed. But what did Esau just do? He just despised his birthright, so he don't get it. But Isaac don't know that. But so that's why I said you had the wise son, you had the foolish son. So now this blessing's about to start happening. Now Esau kind of thinking a little different about this birthright. Remember, he said he despised it. Let's skip down to 6. Go ahead.
Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister. For he feared to say, She is my wife. Lest, he said, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah because she was fair to look upon.
So everybody looked at this and say, well, he didn't trust in the Lord because he didn't say that Rebekah was his wife. No, he still trusted in the Lord, but he understood the situation that he was in. That's an extreme situation. He know how these people are and that they would kill him. So he just said, hey, no, she's my sister. His father did the same thing. So don't get hung up on that. Let's focus on how this guy's been operating the whole time. His whole time, he's always trusted in the Lord and never really did anything aside from that. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah, his wife.
So they see Isaac. Now remember, Isaac got to be about 70-something at this time, right? And they see him, he's still sporting with his wife, hanging with her, kissing on her, and doing all that. And he's about 70-something years old. So look how the Lord has blessed him, right? He still got his wits about him. He's still active and everything. And they looking out and still getting jealous. She had to still be cold, boy. If they still looking at her, he had to say it was his sister, and he about 70, right? So I'm telling you, I told you this thing gonna come together, that the Lord is showing you that, hey, just as I said, when you trusted me as a family, as a unit, when you trusted me and be on one accord, even when your old days you look good and you still have your everything going on, and I'm gonna bless you. Let's keep seeing what happened. Go ahead.
And Abimelech called Isaac and said, Behold, of a surety she is thy wife. And how saidst thou, She is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, Lest I die for her.
Because I knew you guys would kill me just off the drop of a hat. So I knew what to do, right? I knew, but now you see what's going on. You see that this is my wife. Okay, what's going to happen? Go ahead.
And Abimelech said, What is this thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lion with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guiltiness upon us.
So that shows that everybody knew the commandments, right? So these people knew the commandments too. They knew that somebody could have laid with your wife, and you'd have brought guiltiness on this whole land. So that shows you right there that the commandments didn't come in Exodus 20th chapter among Israel, because Israel's not even born yet. Isaac is just here. Jacob is just born, and his name ain't even been changed to Israel yet. So they knew about the commandments that you shouldn't commit adultery, right? Go ahead.
And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death.
And you see what he said? Hey, anybody touch this man or his wife? The Lord said he was going to bless him, right? Now watch. Now he's saying anybody touch this man or his wife going to surely be put to death. Where are we?
12.
Verse 12. Keep going.
Then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold. And the Lord blessed him.
Whoa. Who does that?
Right.
I wish you could get a stock today that's going to give you 100-fold, right? He sold in this land, and he getting 100-fold. Now Esau probably thinking, See, they was just had a little. So give the Lord time with you as a family. Give him time with your family. This is the finance part, right? So once he waited on the Lord and they entreated the Lord in one accord, he sold the land 100-fold. They looking at him like, what's going on? Keep reading. Go ahead.
And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him.
So he in the land of the Philistines, right? And they envying now. You see how the haters always come now. But all you doing is serving the Lord. They could serve the Lord too and get the same thing. But this is how you grow as a family. You want to know about finances and you want to know, everybody think about making money. Stop worried about making money. Worry about serving the Lord and you'll see he'll take care of all the money stuff. Right? So he just said, now he got servants. He in the Philistine land. So who you think is servants? Other Philistines. They not liking this, right? Go ahead.
For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there.
So now all these wells, because you got to put your hand to the plow. They were working. So all the wells that Abraham had digged, the Philistines had stopped with earth. So Isaac started digging and doing stuff, and his stuff was going so great, the Philistines say, hey, man, you got to get out of here. They getting so jealous, they want to put him out of the land, right? Go ahead, keep reading.
18. And Isaac digged again the wells of water which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham. And he called their names after the names by which his father had called them.
So he went and digged back up the wells that his father had digged, that they had stopped up. Now they working for him, they getting jealous of him, right? Because it's working for him. But what's really working for him? This one accord thing with his wife, and they going to the Lord together. It's all in line. It's the father, the son, the husband, the wife, and they all on one same page, and that's what's working. That's why he's getting everything. So you want everything, you do it just like that. Let's skip to 24. Go ahead.
And the Lord appeared unto him the same night and said, I am the God of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake.
You see that? So now the Lord came to him again and just told him a second time, I'm going to bless you, right? You already been blessing him. But he going to come tell, hey, it ain't nothing that I can't do for you. When you got this thing in order, it ain't nothing the Lord can't do for you. Won't nothing be that can stop you. Let's skip down to 26. Go ahead.
Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Ahuzah, one of his friends, and Phicol, the chief captain of his army. And Isaac said unto them, Wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you?
So Isaac said, why you coming for me now? Abimelech and his chief guys come to him and say, hey, man. And Isaac said, hey, man, you hate me. You put me out your country just because I was doing well, right? So what you want now? Go ahead.
And they said, We saw certainly that the Lord was with thee.
Oh, we see the Lord with you, man. Hey, we see the Lord. We know not to mess with you. You see that? This is how the family work. When you got this thing in order with your wife and your children and everything, you protect it. He said, hey, we see the Lord with you. Maybe you won't have problem out of police as much. Maybe you won't have all that stuff because the Lord is the one with the army. The Lord got the whole Air Force on your side when you got this thing together. Go ahead.
And we said, Let there be now an oath betwixt us, even betwixt us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee, that thou wilt do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now the blessed of the Lord.
Keep going.
And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink. And they rose up betimes in the morning, and sware one to another. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace.
You see that? They seeking peace from him. That's what it'll be like. Trump, Obama, whoever, they seek peace from us. Why? Because we got this thing in order. When you got your family in order, everybody got to come to you for everything. Don't you be so fearful and worry about everybody else, because just like the Lord, evidently, he told them, bless you double times. Because now, not only do I bless you with wealth, everybody fear you. I got to make an allegiance with him because he's the one that got the Lord on his side, right? Let's skip on down to 34. Go ahead.
And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Bera the Hittite, and Bashemoth, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah.
Oh, that foolish son again, right? That was grief of mind because he did. Now, Esau 40 years old now, so that means Jacob 40 years old. So how old is Isaac? He's 100. This man got it going. So all this time the Lord has blessed them. You ain't seen no problems with this couple because they waited on the Lord. They didn't have all these issues of casting people out and being with this one and that one. They didn't have none of that. They had just that unit. You want life and peace? Do it like this. Because look, now this man's 100, but you got this crazy son here. That don't mean just because you got everything in line, your children going to just do whatever you think that they should do. He had a foolish son. This guy, he went out and marrying people that they said, hey, don't mess with. He did it anyway. He wanted to do what he wanted to do, right? Let's go to Proverbs 10 and start talking a little bit about. So we covered about that foolish son, right, and what happens when you're grievous to your parents. But let's go to Proverbs 10 and cover a little bit about the keys to financial success and a little bit about this son. Proverbs 10 and 1. Go ahead.
Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
You see that? So that didn't it say it grieved his mother and his father? That foolish son is a heaviness to the mother, but a wise son, you make glad your father. Yeah, oh man, my son, you get like this brother right here with me. He got a son. You could tell every time he proud of him. Man, this guy doing this and he doing that. This boy probably 10 years old, right? But he talk about him every 5 minutes. That's because when you got a wise son, that's how it is. Proverbs 10, keep on going. Go ahead.
The treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death.
Go ahead.
The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked.
See, that's what Esau should have known, right? He says that the Lord ain't going to let the souls of the righteous to famish, but you think, oh, I got to sell, what does birthright mean to me? I'm just going to get this food right here. And you could have waited a while, right? You could have waited on the Lord like your parents have shown you. Go ahead.
He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich.
You see that with Isaac? That hand of that diligent make it rich. They was digging wells. If you would have kept reading, you'd have saw they was always digging wells. They'll come take the well. Isaac still going. It never stopped. He put his hand to the plow 100-fold, because he didn't have a slack hand. So if you want this thing to work, as a husband, you all got to get out there and notice, work together. Not just sit around, we're going to wait on the Lord. No, you got to get around and work together. That's how you have this success. Go ahead.
He that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame.
You see that? Because you don't want the Lord looking at you as a son, you just sleeping around doing nothing. Hey, you causing the Lord shame. And just like Esau, by him being so foolish, he just caused his parents shame. Go ahead.
Blessings are upon the head of the just, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked.
Go ahead.
Skip down to 13.
Skip to 13. Go ahead.
In the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding.
Now, you see that? So the lips of him that understanding, wisdom is found. Now, remember in verse 6, he said, blessed are upon the head of the just, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. We're going to show you how this son just really got wicked, right? And that violence going to cover him. You're going to see that. Keep going.
Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction.
Yeah, go ahead.
The rich man's wealth is his strong city.
You see that? So he said a rich man's wealth is his strong city, right? But go ahead, read the next part.
The destruction of the poor is their poverty.
The destruction of the poor is their poverty. A rich man's wealth is his strong city if you got your riches by right. Because what's really your strong city? God is your strong city. If you doing this thing in alignment on one accord. Go ahead. Where are we?
16.
Go to 21.
Read 16.
Oh, read 16. Go ahead.
The labor of the righteous tendeth to life, the fruit of the wicked to sin.
See, that labor of that righteous is tending to life. So all this labor he's doing, he's showing you in physical labor and he's showing you in spiritual labor. That it's tending to life. But he said the fruit of the wicked to sin. And you see that wicked son, that's just tending to sin. You're going to see that. Let's go to 21. Go ahead.
The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom.
Go ahead.
The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow
That's
with
the
it.
key, ain't it? So if you're looking for financial success and financial, man, I hear that people come to me all the time. Oh, why don't they talk to us about finance in the marriage? Hey, it's right here. He said, the blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich. That's what's going to get you there. That's what Isaac just showed us. That's what will make you rich, especially when you got that family in order. Where are we?
That was 22. The end of 22.
Good. Let's go on down. Let's go to Matthew and see what the Lord said about it. See what Jesus said about it. Matthew 6:19. And we're going to get right back to our case study. Because as we see, you got to remember, Jesus told this story to Moses. So he told it to Moses. Evidently, it was important that he got all in the intricate details of their life. Every little thing they did, he noted it down and told to Moses so Moses could write it down. Matthew 16, we're going to start at 19. 16 and 19. Go ahead.
Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal.
Keep going.
For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
That's the thing. So you don't lay your treasure on, Isaac's treasure wasn't in the field. His treasure was in the Lord. So when he laid it up with the Lord, thieves couldn't break through and steal it. If we read, every time they came and he digged the well, they would take it from him, but they couldn't stop him. So a thief couldn't do nothing to him or steal his treasure because it was always with the Lord. The Lord had already told him, I'm going to bless you. That was the end of the story. That was his treasure right there. Go ahead.
The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness.
And that's what you're going to see in that foolish son. So the light of the body is the eye. He said, if your eye be single, if you stay focused just on the Lord, you keep this thing on one accord. So you reverence your husband, not because of your husband, you reverence your husband because you want to be online with God. And that's what he say do. You protect your wife, not just because she's so good or great. You do it because you want to be in line with God. So that eye is single, your body full of light. But if that eye be evil, you start thinking about the flesh, and you start thinking about, well, she not acting right, or he doing this, or he don't work. Then now your eye not single no more. Your body, your whole body is full of darkness. Go ahead. Where are we? 23. Go ahead.
But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?
If the light that's in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Why is your eye evil? Because you focused on carnal things, and the carnal mind is not subject to the law of God. It's against the law. It's enmity against the law of God. That's what's happening. So your eye is evil when you're doing that, when you worry about the flesh, when you worry about what someone is doing. But when you stay focused on God and that whole family line is on God, we see the blessings that you get. Where are we? 24. Go ahead.
No man can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon.
So you won't be able to serve God and money. You want to know about finances? This is the answer. You will not be able to serve God and money. You cannot worry about money and serve God. You have to worry about God and let the money take care of itself. Just doing right, but you can't have a slack hand either. You have to get out there and do what you're supposed to do. Go ahead.
Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment?
So he's telling you, you so worried about, we're going to go out. I'm going to have this. I'm going to get this on, and I'm going to eat this. Now, that's okay to have the goodness that the Lord bless you with, but you can't put so much care into that. These are the stepping stones. These are the how-tos. Don't be focused on that. If you don't have that steak and you got hamburger, be good with it. That's because you love that the Lord gave you something. It's just like if you give somebody $2 because that's all you had, and they like, $2? You're going to feel like, what? That's how the Lord feel when he give you that hamburger and you don't be thankful for it, right? Let's skip on down to verse 30. Go ahead.
Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith?
So you see that grass of the field, you see those good collard greens you like out there, right? So that's grass of the field, right? And he clothed them. You ever seen a garlic, and if you ever see the leaves look all nice and everything. You take that stuff, pull it out, put it in the oven, right? And he clothed them, make it look good. Don't you know if he'll do that, he will do it for you? So why are you so worried about the other stuff? Why are you so worried about what all you're going to have and this, that, and the other? Hey, be glad you have what you have. Go ahead.
Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or wherewithal shall we be clothed?
Now, how many marriages fail because of this same subject? Oh, what we gonna do? How we gonna pay this? How we go? And you steady nagging it instead of just focusing on the Lord and doing with what you have. Or you go beyond your means and saying, oh, we gotta get this or we gotta have this. You doing all of that, but you're not focused on the Lord. You focus on what we gonna eat. And he's telling you, hey, wherewithal you doing all that, but what did Jesus say for them to do? Keep going.
For after all these things do the Gentiles
all
seek.
these things do the Gentiles seek. And who he say the Gentiles worship? They worship devils. Right? So you seeking after the stuff that Satan is after. You got to seek after the stuff that God is after. That don't mean you don't look nice. All it means is that you're not focused on that. Your eye got to be single. Keep going.
For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God.
Oh, that's the key then, right? What comes first? The kingdom of God. He said, your heavenly Father already, you think God is stupid? He knows you have need of these things, so if you seek his stuff first, you're going to be all right. Go ahead.
And his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
Go ahead.
Take therefore no thought for the morrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
Look, Jesus just told you straight. He said, don't take no thought for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to have thought for the things of itself. By the time you get to tomorrow, you might have a whole different thing going on. He said, sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Keep your eyes single. Keep focused on what you're supposed to be focused on. And that's how you're going to have success. Let's go back to this model couple, Genesis 27, verse 1. Genesis 27, verse 1. When you get it, go ahead.
And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here am I.
So he don't know that Esau done sold the birthright, right? So Isaac's still thinking, hey, I'm supposed to give it to my oldest son, right? We're going to go right on through this story. Go ahead.
And he said, behold now, I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, and make me savory meat such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
So he's about to bless Esau. So he say, hey, go out and kill that venison that I love from you, right? That you hook up so well. Esau probably was a bad cook, boy. He go hunt that stuff, put it up, put it on a skillet and everything, and Isaac just loved it, right? But he don't know what's going on. Go ahead. And remember, he's over 100 now, right? Go ahead.
And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before the Lord my death. Before the Lord, before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats. And I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death.
Now wait a minute, that sounds like stark contradiction to what Isaac just said. Uh-oh, I thought we was all in alignment, Antoine. What's happening? Okay, so let's see. We got a severe a situation that's a severe situation. This is not just your regular situation. You don't see her just getting out of line. The Lord had told her something already. So she knew what happened, and then Esau had already sold it. So, but Esau looking at that money now. They got a little paper now. It's not like the first days. He got servants, and the Lord blessing them. Everybody jealous of him. He got power. Esau saying, man, but remember what it said about those sons, right? The one that thinking about the treasure of the riches and all that. That's that foolish son. So he going to go without saying nothing to his father like, hey, I sold my birthright for a morsel of bread. He going to go, I'm going to go hunt and get it anyway. Okay, so the mother sees it, so she's doing what's right. And check out what she says, though. She's going to say the same thing like Sarah said. Go ahead. When this righteous son going to question it. Go ahead.
11. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver. and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing.
You see that? That's a righteous son, isn't it? He's saying, hey, I don't want my father to have nothing against me. I don't want to do no wrong and deceive him, even though he knows for a fact that he bought that thing. He's still concerned about going forward with it and doing it deceitfully. He'll rather do it up front, right? But she going to say something here. That showed you that difference between that righteous son and that foolish son, right? Esau not going to say nothing and going to go out there and just do it, but this guy going to say, hey, I'd rather not do it deceitfully, right? Go ahead. Let's read what she say, though.
And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son.
Upon me, huh? I take the responsibility. That's what she's supposed to do as a virtuous woman. She cares to her household, right? Go ahead.
Only obey my voice and go fetch me them.
You see that? Let's go to Proverbs 31 and check her out. Proverbs 31, we're going to start at verse 10. We're going to skip or go on and through Proverbs 31. Proverbs 31, and we're going to start at verse 10. Go ahead.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil.
You see that? And you're going to see that he does say that Isaac safely trusts in Rebekah. But so he said the heart of her husband does safely trust in her. Go ahead.
She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Skip down to 8.
Go, yes. So she gonna do him good and not evil all the days of her life. People look at this and say, well, she deceiving him, but she doing him good because he don't know what's done happen. Right? Skip on down to verse 18. Go ahead.
She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night.
See that? Her eyes single. Her candle don't go out by night. Her eyes focused on the Lord. She know what the Lord told her, right? So she's acting on it. Go ahead, 23, go ahead.
Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land.
And we already saw that, right? They scatter him. Go ahead. 27, go ahead.
She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her.
So she looketh well to the ways of her household. And he said, eateth not the bread of idleness. She got up, said, take care of this stuff, right? She take care of the ways of her household. Go ahead.
30.
30, go ahead.
Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised.
And that's what it was. Favor is deceitful. Beauty is vain. But she feared the Lord. She knows she was like those midwives with Moses. She feared the Lord and it said, hey, I know what the Lord told me, so I know what I got to do, right? Let's go. Let's go back to Genesis 27. She looked well to the ways of her household. She had to make sure that this foolish son because he already was causing them grief, right? This foolish son can't be the heir because he already causing us grief, but I already was told who was supposed to be the heir. And so evidently the Lord didn't tell Isaac that. Genesis 27, we're going to start at 15. Go ahead. And let's see if her husband safely trusts in her and she do him good all the days of his life. 27 and 15. Go ahead.
And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me.
Go ahead.
And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son?
Wait a minute. Isaac said, hey, I'm old. I'm not stupid, right? How? I know that you got to go shoot the deer. First, you got to wait on it, shoot it, cut it, gut it, kill it, and then, cook it. You got to do a whole lot. It's going to take a minute before I get that venison. How you got it so quick, right? Go ahead.
And he said, because the Lord thy God brought it to me.
Oh, he said the Lord thy God brought it to me, right? He had to come up with an answer quick, right? Go ahead.
And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. Skip down.
Skip down to verse 25. So he wanted to feel him. He said, man, this sound too tricky. I'm 100-something years old, but I gotta check this out. Go ahead. 25, go ahead.
And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless him. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank.
Go ahead.
And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed.
And if you had kept reading, he said, the voice sound like Jacob, but the smell is Esau, right? But this mother had to do this, right? She had to take care of this because she knew what the Lord told her. So does that mean that you just go outside and do something that your husband don't want you to do? No. What that means is the Lord specifically told her something. Now, if the Lord done specifically told you something, I highly doubt it. So in other words, you really don't have a reason unless some severe situation has come upon and you had to do something. That's what this was. This is not the everyday situation. You're going to see that. Keep going.
Verse 30.
Verse 30, go ahead.
And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone from the presence of Isaac, his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, Who?
What? So who? You know, because Esau came in and said, hey, I'm ready for venison to get my blessing that I really sold, right? But he thinking, ooh, I'm going to get this, even though he know he sold it and despised it. But now he figured he going to cash in on it. And Isaac said, who? Go ahead, read. What happened?
Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed.
And that's it. He shall be blessed. I can't take it back. Go ahead.
And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father.
See, all he cared about was the money. He was a foolish son, just like it said. He thought his mind was in treasures. His mind was on things that corrupt. That's all he cared about. And let's see what else he cared about, too. Go ahead.
And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now, behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
See, that's all he want. He just want this thing so bad. He is so focused on it. And let's see what else he going to get focused on, too. 41.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee.
You see that? Now he's going to the point he want to kill for it. That's the thing, how you know this is a foolish son. He is the one, his words is not the words of wisdom anymore. His words are not what's talking to right according to the law of God. His word is talking treacherously, right? He's that son we were looking at in Proverbs 15. Go ahead, keep going.
Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, and arise. Flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away.
You see that? How she looking well to that household? We're going to make a skip real quick for the sake of time. Let's go to, and we're going to dart back here. Let's go to Proverbs 15 real quick. Proverbs 15. I'm going to give you a second to get there, but Proverbs 15. We're going to discuss this son really quickly. Proverbs 15, we're going to start at verse 3. As soon as you get it. I'm ready. Go ahead.
The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good.
You see that? The eyes of the Lord in every place, beholding the evil and the good. So he was watching this whole thing because he's dictating to Moses. He knew what Esau was talking about. Remember, Moses wasn't there during the time of Esau, but Moses wrote Genesis. Let's go to 21. Go ahead.
Folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly.
You see that? So folly, so he covered himself in the fact that he was going to kill his own brother. Go ahead.
Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors they are established.
See, Jacob had counsel. His mother told him every move to make, and that's why he was successful. But this guy Esau, he was doing whatever he wanted to do. This is how the family works. When you are a family, you have the kids have counsel, the parents are able to, the wife can get counsel from her husband, the husband can get counsel from his wife, everybody's working together. But when you go out and want to be a lone wolf, it doesn't work. Remember, this whole thing got to be aligned. And then when you don't know, you seek the Lord. Go ahead, keep going. Where are we?
26.
26, go ahead.
The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant
You
words.
see that? The thoughts of the wicked are abomination. That's why he said, I loved Jacob and hated Esau. Because the thoughts of the wicked are abomination. You see, he's talking about killing his brother. Go ahead.
He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live.
See, he was greedy of gain. That's all he wanted. Do you have a blessing for me? He didn't care that he lied about the whole thing. He should have been up front, but that's why he was an abomination unto the Lord. Go ahead.
29. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous.
You see that? So all this time, like he said, the Lord is far from the wicked, and he hear the prayer of the righteous. He was hearing, you saw he heard Isaac's prayer. This is how the family structure works. Let's go back to Genesis 27 real quick. Genesis 27. When you get Genesis 27 and 15, go ahead. I'm sorry, Genesis 28 and 1. Genesis 28 and 1. I apologize. Genesis 28 and 1. Go ahead.
And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him, and charged him, and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethuel thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban thy mother's brother. And God Almighty bless thee, and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people. And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee, and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham.
So he gave him the blessing that the Lord gave his father and gave him, and he gave it to Jacob. Now check this out, though. If we had had a chance to read, we'd have realized that Rebekah is the one that told him to do that. She didn't go and say, Jacob, he couldn't, when she sent him out to that land, he could not go until his father told him to go. He couldn't go. So, and how did she get the father to tell him? How did the father wind up telling him to go? Because she asked him. She said, oh, my soul will be sick if my son marry one of these women of Heth. Go and send him to my brother's house to find a woman, right? So that's how that happened, because Rebekah, he had a wife that he could listen to that counsel from. Remember, it said wisdom was in a multitude of counsel, right? Let's go to Hebrews 12. This is the end of it all. We're going to skip to Hebrews 12. Hebrews 12 started. We're going to go to 1 to 5. Go ahead.
Wherefore, seeing we are also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us.
So we are set aside with a lot of stuff. We gotta stay focused, keep our eyes single, and run with patience, right? Keep running this race. Go ahead.
Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God.
Keep going.
For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds.
So we got to consider all this stuff that he dealt with, and we got to keep focused on this thing. We got to keep that eye single. Go ahead.
Ye have not yet resisted unto blood.
That's the thing. See, you have not yet resisted unto blood. Everybody concerned about their marriages and thinking, oh, I just can't take it. I'm about to leave. You have not resisted unto blood. You have not, he said, you have not resisted unto blood. What's that second part?
Striving against sin.
Striving against sin. Because someone in your marriage has sinned against you, you ain't resisted unto blood. You didn't have to go through all that Jesus went through, striving against sin, so you got to put up with it. But we're going to skip right on down to, let me see, I think it's verse 15. Go to 15.
Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
Go ahead.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
So that's the key right there. So you could be like that foolish son, foolish Esau, and sell your whole marriage and everything down the drain because one fornicator, one situation, and you decide, hey, I'm going to sell my whole marriage and this whole thing I got with the Lord down the drain for a morsel of bread. I thank you for your time.